drivers, what's going on, man? At first, I wasn't going to say anything about it because, like many of you out there, I think this lawsuit is frivolous. It don't have merit, and it's just downright ridiculous. I also think this is just for clout. This is just something that a struggle rapper wanted to do to get their struggling rap career back on track. Now, for the people that's outside of Detroit that don't know this young lady, such as myself, only people that knows her is the people of Detroit. Shout out to Detroit, Michigan, man. They do produce some great rappers. Eminem came from Detroit. Royce the 5'9" came from Detroit. There's a lot of great Detroit rappers out there. Now, did Eminem and Royce the 5'9" did what this female rapper done to get their name out there? I don't believe so. Even though Eminem is one of the controversial rappers from Detroit. But here's a female rapper that's causing a lot of controversy for herself, but not just for her rap career, which many say is kind of suspect at best. Now, from what I understand, this young lady have been on a lot of reality shows, and some might even go as far as to say that she do have bars. But that's just up for the public debate, because in my opinion, people these days make any struggle rapper famous. Do I need to say anything about Sexy Red? Do I? Okay, I made my point on that. Today, we're getting into a heated debate that has taken over social media the past few days. Dank Demoss, the 400-pound rapper, ordered a Lyft ride, which went terribly wrong for her. Since the situation, she has came on social media and made a social media rant, which I'm not sure if it's still up. I gotta go and double check. And if it is, I'll post it to this commentary right here. But she also went and got some lawyers and filed a lawsuit against Lyft, which has the people choosing sides. So, was this a case of discrimination, or was the driver simply looking out for their vehicle? Let's get into it. Now look, before I start, I used to be a Uber, Lyft driver back in the day, and I have came across a whole bunch of people that I haven't let in my car. Was that discriminatory? No. It was the fact that this was my car, and I was looking out for my car. People that was drunk out of their minds to the point that they was about to throw up, I didn't let in my cars. People that gave me any kind of pushback, I didn't let get in my cars. Anybody I felt uncomfortable with, I didn't let in my cars. And I am honestly, yes, allergic to a few dogs. So pets was another big controversial issue. Now, that right there is in the law and it is protected. You can't discriminate people with service pets, but that's a gray area right there on what pet do you consider a service pet. I seen a young lady try to get in somebody's car with a pig, and they said that this is a service pet, and the dude clearly rejected that ride. Now, what happened with that, I'm not sure. It was recorded. It was on a video. Did that get blown up like this situation right here? It got blown up on the internet, but I think that's as far as it went. But this right here, this man pulls up, he sees the young lady, he assessed the situation, and he figures that his car would not handle the weight, which is true. Everything has a weight limit. Now, see, what people is not talking about, right? This is what people not talking about. See, people is talking about because he refused a plus-size woman to get into his car. Let's just stop right there for a minute. Let's say she was able to get in the car. Let's say she did get in the car. How comfortable would that ride would have been for her? Come on, let's be honest. Let's be totally honest. That ride would have been super uncomfortable for her. Number one, the car is small. Number two, there's no leg room in the back. And no telling how tall the young man was. I couldn't tell through the video, but it sounds like he was a small guy. Maybe he could have moved up, but that would have made him uncomfortable. Okay? Now think about that. Now let's just talk about the comfort for a minute. Would that would have been comfortable for her? Honestly, I don't think it would have been. Just stay with this. Stay with me. She would have got in the car. It would have been an uncomfortable ride. And then when she would have got out, then she probably would have made another video talking about, how uncomfortable the ride was. Instead of an SL SUV coming to pick me up, this small Toyota Camry, which couldn't fit a peanut, came and picked up my big self. Look at me. That would have been a whole nother video. Now, let's move from that point to she got into the car, they was driving, and what if something happened to the car? What if the suspensions caved out? What if the shocks gave out? What if the tires flattened? I'm just, work with me here. I know the guy said something about the tires, but I'm just saying, what if something happened to the car? Then it would have been a whole nother video of her getting into the car and the car broke down. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? And lastly, what if she got into the car and they got into an accident? Let's say the car rolled over. Let's say the car was smashed. Here she is, all in her whole 400-pound glory. Now she can't get out of the car, and they had to come with the jaws of life and rip that whole car apart just to get her out of there. See, there's a lot of variables here, but none of that happened. I could foresee all of that happen, and generally, I kind of think that the driver kind of foreseed all of that happened. That's why he refused the Lyft, okay? I would have probably did the exact same thing. I got a small car. I had a truck. When I did Lyft, I had a truck. My truck was a platinum. It was a luxury. I was on the luxury side of Lyft because I wasn't going to just let any old body get in my car and get in my truck at that time. So I was on the luxury side of Lyft. Didn't get that many orders because of it, but the money was good though. So let's continue. All right. So here's what we know so far. Dank, a plus size individual, female rapper out of Detroit. Let me just make sure I keep emphasizing that, because when you look up Dank Demoss on the internet, every news outlet made it a point to say female rapper from Detroit. They want to make sure they get that in there, not just a plus size, overweight, 400-pound lady. No. That don't sound right. That don't sound good at all. That don't sound enticing. How about Dank Demoss, female rapper from Detroit? Hey, that sounds better. Go with that one right there. Upon arrival, the driver allegedly expressed concerns for their car, as he should. He says that his car might not be able to accommodate the passenger's weight, which it probably can. So Dank already, now mind you, let me preface this, she already had her phone out and was already recording. So she already knew that in her mind, I'm going to make sure I get this on video because I kind of feel that it's going to be worth my while. So she gets into her feelings, allegedly, and starts a back and forth with the young man. Now, the video is all over social media, so I really don't need to play it here. So go find it. You'll find it. It's in all of the news outlets. It's her and the driver. It's going back and forth. The driver saying no. She's saying yes. Driver saying the reasons why. She's saying, oh, don't worry about it. I can get in the car. I can fit in the car, knowing damn well she can't. And even if she do, it's going to be an uncomfortable ride. So in that situation right there, if that was me, I wouldn't even let it go that far. I wouldn't even let it go that far. Hey, I'm sorry. You're going to have to order another Lyft. I'm going to cancel this one, give you your money back, and you have a nice day. Bye. Wouldn't even entertain any type of conversation. Nope. You want to know why I wouldn't entertain any conversation? Because this is my car. I pay for this car. I pay monthly payments for this car. I pay for the upkeep of my car. I put the fuel in my car. You don't. You pay an app 10 times more than what I get paid to take you. So no, 1099 contractor is what it is. 1099 contractor, meaning that I'm not employed. I am contracted to do a service for an app to pick you up, to take you to where you need to be. Now, it's my choice whether I want to do that. And I don't understand why people don't seem to understand. So, of course, she went to social media and posted the video. Video, of course, goes viral. It garners a lot of internet feedback. Some good, some bad, some crazy. Crazy to a point that she came back with a response video. And that video kind of went viral. Now, is this still up? Because she did file a lawsuit against Lyft. You wouldn't want that kind of video to be up while you're trying to go after a company for your version of discrimination and trying to get money out of. Because that video doesn't paint you in a good light. And that video can also be used against you. It's been up for a minute. A whole bunch of people screenshotted it. A whole bunch of people screen recorded it so they could probably re-upload it. So it's going to be fine because the internet is forever. Now, being that, again, it's been posted, both videos, it has sparked a whole debate. It's been the topic of discussion ever since of its inception. While, again, others sympathize with her fans inside of Detroit, others outside of Detroit, and whether the situation was just unjust as it seems. And for me, being a former Uber Lyft driver, yes, it is unjust. But listen though, the internet, as I said before, is forever, and it does what it does best. It turns her controversy into a meme real fast. Now listen, there is memes out there. Not going to put it up here, but if you search Dank Demoss on Twitter, you'll see countless memes circulating about this young lady. But drivers, I do have a question. Here's the question. Is that even fair? While Dank calls herself putting it out there, which I know the real reason is for clout, but in her deranged mind somewhere, she thought she putting out there for support and to show how others females of her stature gets treated. But the internet, the social media, the World Wide Web took a very different approach, focusing more on the humor than the underlying issue. Now let's talk about the legal aspect, because she did go out and got 2 crackpot lawyers from a billboard, the same billboard that's be out on these roads that say, I am the hammer and I could get you a nuclear lawsuit when a truck hits you, or when you hit a truck. We're going after the trucking company for millions of dollars. That same billboard that she got these 2 crackpot lawyers from. They thought it would be a good idea to go after Lyft, right? So they decide to sue Lyft, claiming discrimination. But as I said in the opening, is there a legal bias for this case? I don't think it is. I don't think it has merit. That's just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. I've seen people sue for less frivolous things and still win because of a technicality. Unlike race, religion, body weight is generally not a protected class up under the discrimination law. Now, for some reason in Michigan, weight is on the books for some reason. While some argue that obesity should be recognized in the same way, technically speaking, it's a gray area. Could this lawsuit set a precedent, or is it likely to be dismissed outright? The world would just have to wait and see. Now, of course, since all this hoopla and everything been focused on Dank Demoss, female rapper from Detroit, we have lost focus on the driver himself. Now, while some claim that Lyft deactivated him from the platform, pretty much deactivated him from taking care of his family, messing with his money, putting a dent into his finances, because I'm sure Lyft isn't the only gig app that he works. I'm sure if he does Lyft, he does Uber. And if he does the ride shares, I'm pretty sure that he does the delivery service side of it too, okay? So even though he probably might still be making money out there, and it probably might not be a big deal that he got deactivated from Lyft, but it's still a dent in his finances. That money that he was getting that was adding up now has to be replenished some kind of way. Now, while everybody's not focusing on him, Lyft always, because they don't want to be put in a bad light, they always side with the passenger. And they always would throw the driver up under the bus. Oh, we're so sorry that happened to you. Reach out to us so we can handle the matter. The driver is no longer activated on the platform and blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that. Oh, Lyft, you should be behind your driver because you're reaching out to him via 1099. This is his ride. He did not discriminate, in my opinion, from what I saw from the video. He just simply said, no, I don't think that your weight can accommodate my small ass on the last leg car. And if you guys heard in the video, the car sounds like it was gasping for air. I'm just saying. I don't think that this was a case of fat phobia. I don't think this was a case of discrimination or anything of that matter. I just simply think that the driver was more concerned about his vehicle than anything else. Now, sir, again, hopefully you will countersue. That's what I want to see. Countersue Lyft for unjust. I think you have a case. Her, not so much, but you, I do believe you have a case. Number one, you was being recorded without your knowledge. That's number one. Number two, you simply refused to ride because of your equipment. Your equipment wasn't up to par to handle the weight capacity that she was bringing. Some have even pointed out that weight limits do exist on a lot of things. Elevators, those little scooters that you ride in Walmart that I see people be sitting on, and weight limits for a car. Hell, there's weight limits for a truck, trailer. The weight limit to drive legally on the roads is 34. 11,000 for the steers, 34,000 for the drives, and 34,000 for the tandems. And we got to be street legal with that. If not, we would get a ticket for being overweight. Lyft drivers, Uber drivers are independent contractors. Let's just make sure we get that. Let's make sure we point that out. They are independent contractors, not employees of Lyft and or Uber. Now, if this is going to be a problem going forward, think about the ripple effect that this is going to have on future drivers that's really thinking about doing rideshare services and current drivers that are already doing it. Since this right here has blown way out of proportion, now it's going to be to a point that when a driver pulls up and they see a large overweight person, is they going to be in fear of their job now because they don't let them in their car for whatever reason? Or is this going to take another internet effect that every overweight person is going to go out there with their phone, order a Lyft so they can jump on the same perceived lawsuit bandwagon? Oh, it worked for Dank Demoss. Maybe it'll work for me. Because everybody on the internet copies everybody on the internet. Even though this is like an original thing, an original thought, trust me. It might not happen this month, but I guarantee you that it's going to happen again with somebody else that's going to do the exact same thing to that poor driver. And for the drivers out there, listen, I feel you. If you don't want nobody in your car for whatever reason, whether it's safety, weight, or whatever, you just don't want no confrontation and you refuse, you got the right. But just know that the platform that you're driving for, Uber and Lyft, they're not going to have your back, sir. They're not going to have it. Lyft should step in and support this driver now that they're getting sued by the passenger. I wouldn't be surprised if Lyft would come back and reinstate this guy and probably put in a bug in his ear for a countersuit. They spend way too much time and effort to support the passengers and just leave their drivers in the dust. So I'm going to leave this right here. Where do you stand on this situation, drivers? If you've seen it, if you haven't, I don't know. And I know this is not a trucking topic, but I have made it trucking related. Was Dank Demoss, female rapper from Detroit, was right to call out Lyft and take legal actions? Or was this blown way out of proportion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And do me a favor, drivers. Do me a favor. I know a lot of us do have some potty mouths. So can you do me a favor and keep the discussion civil? All right, guys. Until next time, everybody.